This video is on processed foods and inflammation. The research question states, does excessive consumption of processed foods increase an individual's risk of developing chronic inflammation as a pathway to cardiovascular disease? Ultra-processed foods, also known as UPFs, have become heavily incorporated into the modern-day diet of many individuals. Although these meals are convenient and appealing, there is mounting evidence to support their harmful consequences on health. Before we delve into this topic further, we should first define what UPFs are. UPFs are manufactured products that mimic the sensory attributes of minimally processed foods by adding ingredients, such as additives, not utilized in traditional cooking. There is much evidence out there that explains the consequences of processed foods. A high UPF diet has been linked to an increased risk of inflammation, a major factor in chronic diseases, including cardiovascular disease. According to a French study, those with high UPF consumption had greater amounts of inflammatory markers, consistent with chronic inflammation linked to cardiovascular disease. Persistent inflammation appears to impair the body's capacity to generate autophagosomes, which are ordinarily responsible for eliminating damaged cells. Consequently, autophagy declines, contributing to neurodegenerative illnesses. Additionally, DNA methylation of macrophage genes is associated with persistent inflammation, inhibiting the body's natural defense mechanism. An innate immune response appears to be triggered by the Western diet, which is high in saturated fats, refined sugars, and sodium, generating more pro-inflammatory cytokines than anti-inflammatory ones. On the other hand, following a Mediterranean diet is associated with decreased levels of inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein and IL-6. UPFs can have a wide range of harmful effects on the body. Preclinical research has also revealed that some UPF ingredients interfere with the amygdala-hippocampal complex. Depression has long been linked to pro-inflammatory biomarkers such as lipopolysaccharide-binding protein and C-reactive protein. This chart that you see here is provided by the American Heart Association, where it shows the incidence of coronary heart disease mortality based on the frequency of Western-style fast food items. As we can see from the chart, the higher the frequency of intake results in the higher rate of coronary heart disease mortality. It is important to be aware that there are different types of food processing. At the lowest level, there are minimally processed foods, which are altered to be safe to ingest or to extend shelf life. Then there are processed foods, which are changed to enhance flavor or texture. And lastly, we have at the top ultra-processed foods, which are enhanced with artificial colors and sweeteners, flavors, preservatives, thickeners, emulsifiers, salt, sugar, and fats. Overall, because UPFs are widely consumed, there is a serious concern due to their effect in inducing inflammation and raising the risk of chronic diseases. A helpful tool for assessing a diet's propensity for inflammation is the Dietary Inflammatory Index. With all of these values on the chart, the most important thing to look out for are the negative and positive numbers. A negative number reflects a more anti-inflammatory score, whereas a positive number reflects a more pro-inflammatory score. As we can see at the top, fast food diets have a positive 4.07 pro-inflammatory score, whereas a Mediterranean diet has a negative 3.96 anti-inflammatory score. This clearly shows that the Mediterranean diet is much better for you and is much more anti-inflammatory than the fast food diet is. So now you may be asking, what food should we be consuming? Well, here are just a few different food groups that would be good to consume. Some include vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. This is because they are all anti-inflammatory foods that are beneficial to eat and have an inverse relationship with the risk of inflammation and the development of cardiovascular disease. To conclude, diets high in processed foods and UPFs are associated with inflammation, which can cause a variety of conditions, especially cardiovascular disease. One nutritious diet that does help to maintain low inflammatory markers is the Mediterranean diet. This diet is based on plant-based foods, but also incorporates foods such as fish, lean meats, and healthy fats. Lastly, reducing UPF intake and promoting anti-inflammatory nourishment is vital in averting this growing health issue and in protecting health for coming generations. This quote by Thomas Edison really sums up the point of this video and the message that is being brought to you. His quote states, "The doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition."